Hello everybody, if you're wondering what the music is about, it's because I just saw a high school production of Little Shop of Horrors. Maybe reminisce about the days when I was a theater techie. I actually helped work on productions like The Green Man and Sweeney Todd. Funny story about Sweeney Todd, actually. We did Sweeney Todd before Tim Burton released his version of Sweeney Todd. So every time someone asked us what Sweeney Todd about, we're like, well, you probably heard about it if you've seen Jersey Girl. Remember that scene where everyone's doing Memories from Cats and then there's that girl that does a different song and everyone's just kind of shocked by it? We're doing that one. And they always gave us like that, oh! So that was always fun. But back to books. This week was really interesting. Last Thursday, Sara Gruen came to town, and we usually don't have authors of her caliber to arrive, even when we did have bookstores. So that was pretty neat. I had just finished reading Mother for Elephants, and I decided to make this little elephant, named her Rosie, after the elephant Mother for Elephants. I made her in a day, the night before Sara Gruen was supposed to come to town. And Sara Gruen was pretty cool. She even signed it. So I'm actually really proud of this. This week I got a bunch of books courtesy of Savannah from Books with Bite. Thank you, Savannah. I wasn't expecting to win the giveaway, so I was totally surprised when I saw the email. I was like, this can't be right. But I ended up winning them. Actually, I wanted 3 of the books. I hadn't heard of the other 2, but they sound really interesting, so I'm really glad that I won them and have the chance to read them. So first up is Roses and Bones, Myths, Tales, and Secrets. It's a collection of 3 books by Francesca Block. I also got So Shelly by Ty Roth, Vesper by Sampson, Angelfire by Courtney, Allison, Moulton, and I also got Across the Universe by Beth, Revis. I like this cover here that they showcase on the book. I think it's interesting, captivating, and intriguing. But I also learned that the cover is reversible. And if you want, you can stare at a blueprint of the spaceship that they're on, which is really, really neat. I'm pretty sure it'll come in handy when I start to read the book. I totally forgot this week was the week that Silly Fallen Angels came out. I didn't realize it until I started reading tweets about people not getting their shipments in fast enough, and Cassandra Clare made a huge announcement about people please not posting spoily parts, and I'm really, really glad that they haven't. I was blessed to be nearby a Barnes & Noble today, and I ended up picking up, I believe this is the last copy there, of City of Fallen Angels, Cassandra Clare, because it is from Barnes & Noble. I did end up getting the exclusive letter that's only sold at Barnes & Noble. And my dad directed me to the attention to the bargain table. Saw this book, King of Comics by Mark Evanier, I'm guessing. It's a book about Jack Kirby. Really interesting cover. You can see Captain America's shield up there. This might be from Fantastic Four, I'm not too sure. And of course, the Incredible Hulk. If you don't know who Jack Kirby is, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee are legends. They basically created the modern comic book, or created what it is today. So, pretty sure that's going to be interesting. Plus, there's also a prologue written by Neil Gaiman. So Neil Gaiman is an amazing writer. I also received an 8-arc Tales from Frewyn. Short stories from the, I believe it's pronounced Haanta, I'm probably wrong. That is my best guess. Haanta series, Volume 1, by Michelle Franklin, art by Twisk. I will leave both of their links down below this video post. I've read a couple of Michelle Franklin short stories before on Evanier. She's really an incredible writer. Her short story collection should be out in about a month. It will be published by Red Willow Press. She's such an amazing writer, and she writes so fast. She said she had like 2 million words within 6 months, and that's like just mind-blowing. Like I said, Sara Gruen came over Thursday, and I always end up buying at least one book whenever there's a book signing. So I ended up picking up her latest book, Ape House, which she signed. And she signed my copy of Water for Elephants. Here. Like I said, I just finished reading this book. I believe it was Tuesday. And this is amazing. You need to go out and buy it. If you already own it but you haven't read it, you should go read it. If you've already read it, you need to go read it again. It is that amazing. Stephen King's blurb on here is, "This colorful, headlong tale of a Depression-era circus simply can't be beat." And I totally agree with that. I'm actually going to read to you the first page of the first chapter here, since I just read it. This is one of my weekly reads. So. I am 90 or 93, one or the other. When you're 5, you know your age down to the month. Even in your 20s, you know how old you are. I'm 23, you say, or maybe 27. But then in your 30s, something strange starts to happen. It's a mere hiccup at first, an instant of hesitation. How old are you? Oh, you start confidently, but then you stop. You were going to say 33, but you're not. You're 35, and then you're bothered, because you wonder if this is the beginning of the end. It is, of course, but it's decades before you admit it. You start to forget words. They're on the tip of your tongue, but instead of eventually dislodging, they stay there. You go upstairs to fetch something, and by the time you get there, you can't remember what it was you were after. You call your child by the names of all your other children, and finally the dog before you get to his. Sometimes you forget what day it is. And finally, you forget the year. Actually, it's not so much they've forgotten. It's more like I've stopped keeping track. We're past the millennium, that much I know. Such a fuss and bother over nothing, and all those young folks clucking with worry and buying canned food because somebody was too lazy to leave space for the 4 digits instead of 2. But that could have been last month or 3 years ago. And besides, what does it really matter? What's the difference between 3 weeks or 3 years or even 3 decades of mushy peas, tapioca, and Depends undergarments? I am 90 or 93, one or the other. Amazing writing. I believe it may have some YA crossover appeal. The protagonist, Jacob Jankowski, is actually 23 for the majority of the book. Kind of flashes back between him being 90 or 93 to 23. So, really intriguing. Pick this up. I am currently reading Cloaked by Flinn. It is a, I wasn't sure by the summary of what fairy tale retelling this is, but now that I'm reading it, I'm pretty sure it's the Frog Prince. I was kind of confused because she quoted a line from the Shoemaker and the Elves story, so I kind of thought it was that, but it actually might be a mishmash of Shoemaker and the Elves and Frog Prince. So far it's been really entertaining. She has really fun characters that always prove to be interesting. So, that's what I got this week, and that's what I read this week. I hope everyone is having a fantastic time. I know most of you guys are probably at Teen Book Con. Wish I was there. And I hope you guys are all having a fantastic time there. So, I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye!